This one is for anyone out there with feelings. If you don't got them, this ain't for you. Welcome to a Notsam Wrestling emergency podcast. And what is the emergency in an era of professional wrestling where the term cinema is thrown around maybe a little more often than it should? Tonight, we got an out-and-out movie in this amazing chapter in the war between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. So earlier today, and it was one of those days where I just knew, odds are, 10 p.m. Eastern, the minute SmackDown goes off the air, the siren is most likely going to have to go on. And I felt that way just from looking at a still. Roman Reigns' Twitter account, Cody Rhodes' Twitter account, the WWE Twitter account, Paul Heyman's social media. Everybody was alerting the world with just this still image of Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes in a football stadium. It appeared to be the Georgia Tech football stadium. I think you could see the logo in the background. But shot cinematically, and it said, tonight on SmackDown, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes face-to-face. And I did at the time say less. I would imagine I'll be downstairs, but there was a part of me that went, you know what, maybe I won't need to. Then I watched it. And I said I need to. Some people describe this as a movie trailer. I don't remember the last time I watched a movie trailer that was over 8.5 minutes long. And I'll tell you, after it was over, I said, man, they let that thing go 4 or 5 minutes, huh? And then I saw it posted digitally, and it was like 8:40 or something like that. And I went, oh my God, quite frankly, I could have watched a solid 30 on a 2-hour pro wrestling show. I could have watched that for 30 minutes, and maybe I'm in the minority. But for those calculating how much of the show was actually in ring time, if you told me that 30 minutes of any given SmackDown was that confrontation in a football stadium, shot like that, with a story told like that, with words used like that, I'd say, yeah, that's the show that I want to watch. So we see these Escalades start driving to Georgia Tech's football stadium. This is the, and you didn't even realize. I didn't realize anyway. Maybe they did. Maybe some people realized. Maybe they've already said it and I just missed it. But this idea that we all know Cody Rhodes is from Atlanta. We all know Bad Blood's going to be in Atlanta. Metro Boom has been telling us about it for months now. But I didn't put two and two together with Roman Reigns' college football history coming from Atlanta, Georgia. The fact that this has roots geographically buried deep. And that story was told by having the confrontation in this football stadium on SmackDown. So those 7 Escalades pull up. And, you know, you want, and part of you goes, maybe Jimmy Uso's in one of them. Maybe Jey Uso's in one of them. Who knows? Maybe the Wise Man's in one of them. But nobody has any idea who is in any of them except for the middle one that Roman Reigns walked out of. Roman Reigns rolls in to that football stadium, 7 Escalades deep. Cody Rhodes pulls out his fanciest, danciest sports car and drives himself. Walks in, and this is Cody Rhodes, even though he's the one wearing the 3-piece suits and Rolexes, and Roman Reigns is the one showing up in athleisure. Cody Rhodes still is able to maintain that aura of the everyman. And I think that's why it's important that he drove himself. So Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes meet in the middle of this football field. And Roman starts explaining that the ground that Cody is stepping on is his ground. This is his football field, the field where he left blood, sweat, and tears. And that makes it his field. And if this field is his field, well then, that makes this stadium his stadium. And if this stadium is his stadium, well then, by golly, you do the math. That makes this city Roman Reigns City. And Cody Rhodes doesn't like that, not just because Cody Rhodes lives in Atlanta, but of course, because of the rich history that Atlanta, Georgia has with Dusty and the Rhodes family in professional wrestling. And Cody said it, and I felt these words. When Cody said, "You played football," thanks for that. With the way he said football, and I watch football. I'm a football fan, okay? But I love wrestling. And the fact that people put football on this pedestal and wrestling is still having to prove itself, not to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes said, "You played football. Great. We wrestle." And it's like, yeah, we do. So he starts talking about Cody's history in Atlanta, Georgia. The history his family has in Atlanta, Georgia. The Omni, all the landmarks. And says, Atlanta is not Roman's city, but it is Cody's home. Roman starts to break down Cody as putting himself in a bad position, as being somebody with everything to lose. Roman says he's got nothing to lose. And for the first time in a long time, brings up Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso hasn't really had a lot of attention paid to him since he walked away. And Roman said straight up, he brought up Jimmy Uso because everything counts. The incident that happened in April when Solo and this new bloodline took out Jimmy Uso, well, that counts. He brought up the wise man. He took my wise man away from me, Paul Heyman. And that answers the question. When Roman Reigns returned, why did Roman return without Paul Heyman? Well, number one, it was because we needed to showcase Roman as being vulnerable for the first time. For the first time in 4 years, Roman Reigns was completely on his own. And secondly, because part of the battle that Roman is fighting right now is that you took the wise man away from me. That's why Roman doesn't have the mic put into his hand exactly the way he wants it. That's why Roman looks to his left as he's getting in the ring and realizes there's nobody there with him. And if Paul Heyman returns with Roman Reigns, that's a story element that we can't use. Because Roman could be mad that, well, you beat up the wise man, and I don't like that. But if the wise man returns with Roman Reigns, then the bloodline really never took the wise man away from Roman Reigns. But Cody switches it up a little bit. Cody goes, he doesn't think Roman is contextualizing the facts exactly right. Because he brings up that, yes, Roman lost Jimmy, and yes, Roman lost Paul Heyman. But he says that Roman stands before him exactly the person who Cody Rhodes predicted he would be after WrestleMania 40. A chief without a tribe. He says, WWE has a tribal chief, Solo Sikoa. WWE has an undisputed champion, Cody Rhodes. And Cody says, what does that make you? Simply the person who used to be Roman Reigns. And oh, does that cut like a knife. And there are two reasons why I love that so much. First, Cody showed balls. Cody was not like, well, gee golly, Roman, you know, we had a great contest at WrestleMania, and boy, I can't wait to lace the boots side by side with you, just a great competitor. No. Cody Rhodes didn't have an ounce of Bob Backlund in him this time. No. Cody Rhodes let Roman know, I know the hell that you put me through. And I beat you. And I'll never let you forget that. There was nothing humble about Cody Rhodes as he stared at Roman Reigns, and there should be nothing humble about Cody Rhodes as he stares at Roman Reigns. Because Cody Rhodes did the one thing that nobody else in the WWE could possibly do or imagine anyone doing, and that's defeating the tribal chief. And as soon as he sees the tribal chief, Cody reminds him, I'm the guy that did that. You can talk about how you own things. You can talk about how you're the top draw. You can talk about how you're the guy. I'm the guy who beat you. That's it. And the exact position you're in now is exactly what I said would happen. So no more of you walking in here as if you have the advantage, as if you're the one who is moving all the pieces on the chessboard exactly as you want them. Because if you were truly the chess master, if you were truly the one who was in charge of this scenario, you'd be the one holding the title, not me. That is what I got from Cody Rhodes, and it really drove home how important this Bad Blood match is as a chapter in the multi-book saga of the Bloodline. Not multi-chapter, multi-book. I believe book 1 of the Bloodline was shut at WrestleMania 40, and one day we'll figure out how many chapters exactly are in that book when we retell the story here on Notsam Wrestling. But we're into book 2 of the Bloodline as far as I'm concerned. And what we haven't seen is who is Roman Reigns when it comes to book 2 of the Bloodline. How does that Roman Reigns wrestle? How does that Roman Reigns carry himself? How can that Roman Reigns call himself the top guy when he has none of the people around him? When he doesn't have the Ulafala? When he doesn't have the Tribal Chief moniker? When he doesn't have, most importantly, the WWE Undisputed Championship? And this goes back to people who at one point said, well, Roman could lose the title and still have a main event match for the Tribal Chief. And it's like, no, once Roman loses the title, the book is closed. And I think when Cody pointed out, no, don't just come in here with a fresh set of eyes. And he's almost not allowing people to just sit here and be excited that Roman Reigns is back, because he's bringing us back to April. He's bringing us back to WrestleMania. That's the same guy. And Roman is acting like the same guy. Roman isn't denying that he's the same guy. But Cody is putting that guy in the proper context and going, that's who that is. That's the villain. And I conquered him. And nobody should forget that. And he's got to prove himself. And nobody should forget that. And what we're doing is we're walking into Bad Blood and witnessing for the first time in a match who and what that Roman Reigns actually is. Who is the Roman Reigns who lost his title, his family, and his identity? The only thing he kept was his aura, because by golly, does he still have that aura? Roman, says that he'll indeed have Cody Rhodes back. Because he said, what do you want, Cody? What do you want? Because he doesn't like the direction Cody has taken this in. What do you want? Cody says, I just want to know that you'll have my back. Roman says, I'll have your back. But once we beat the Bloodline, I'm coming for what's mine. And he starts to walk away, and Cody steps in front of him. And Cody says, it's not yours to take. Cody says, there is no what's mine. I'm not holding this for you. You're going to come and take what belongs to Cody Rhodes. If you're going to try to take anything, it's not, I'm going to try to take back the thing that belongs to Roman Reigns, which is the WWE Championship. No. You're going to have to come and take the thing that belongs to Cody Rhodes. And maybe that means that you have to earn an opportunity. Now, don't forget, Nick Aldis did say, as soon as Roman returned in September, that he was, when they did before they did the Kevin Owens-Cody match, Nick Aldis said that he was trying to find Roman Reigns to offer him the match with Cody. But Cody says, when and if that match were to happen, that Roman, this isn't you coming back for your title. This is you trying to get my title. And Roman looks at Cody and just says, you're in my way. And Cody steps aside. But Roman clarifies, you're in my way in life. And then we go to the wide shot, and the music kicks in again, and boom, 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 boom. And we see something that maybe this is hyperbole. Maybe I'm just such a wrestling fan and such a Bloodline fan and love these stories so much that I'm going over the top with it. But to me, I'm like, yep, I like this like I like Succession. I like this like I like The Sopranos. We make movies, pal. That's what this was. This was beyond cinema. Cinema is a word that we use when there's a story playing out in the ring. And we go, I mean, the way this story is playing out, the way it makes me feel, it's like I'm watching a movie. I'm invested in this story. That's cinema. This is a whole dang movie. This is cinematic. This was unbelievable. I mean, when you really look at it, and it's true that now, because a while back we talked about Cody and his rivals and how technically, especially at WrestleMania 39, but even to an extent at WrestleMania 40, it wasn't so much about Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes being the ultimate rivals, being the ultimate thorns in each other's sides, being Batman and Joker, Superman and Lex Luthor. It was that Cody needed to finish the story and Roman was in the way. And that's how it started, right? Because if Roman hadn't been the champion, Cody would have just gone after whoever was. If somebody had beaten Roman before Cody got there, before Cody had the chance, he would have been fine to just fight whoever beat Roman, because the point was to get the title, not to be the one that necessarily beat Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was just the person he had to beat to get the title. But once he beat Roman Reigns, he became the guy who took that from Roman Reigns. He became the guy who beat Roman Reigns, which means that he and Roman now, especially from Roman's point of view, are linked forever. And in the meantime, on Cody's side, Roman Reigns is the guy that everybody says, well, Cody's the champion, but he ain't Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the measuring stick. Roman Reigns is still the one who Cody consistently gets compared to. When people talk about Cody's title reign, they go, yeah, but remember the bloodline? Yeah, but remember the stories Roman was telling? Remember how invested we were in Roman? Remember the aura Roman had? And I'm sure that that's theoretically that's built on the Cody character. That Cody hasn't been able to escape this shadow. And so now what we've got is this cosmically linked rivalry. And as I said last week, the type of rivalry that if you want, not that this is a prediction, not that I think this is exactly what's going to happen, but if you want, for the first time we have a rivalry between your two top talents in the WWE that could main event 3 WrestleManias, and not only be the first to main event 3 WrestleManias, but do it in a row. Because Roman and Brock main evented 3 WrestleManias. Austin and Rock didn't main event 3 WrestleManias because Austin and Rock's last WrestleMania match, technically the last match on that show, was Brock and Kurt, if I remember correctly. So, but in terms of those WrestleMania trifectas, this is there. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, as of right now, to me, has become the biggest rivalry, at least since Rock Austin. And maybe even, I maybe bigger than that. I'm not saying that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns as individuals are bigger than The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. That'd be very, very difficult to say, especially right now. But in terms of just the rivalry itself, if you put Cody and Roman and had Limp Bizkit sing My Way, as you looked at highlights between this rivalry, it would be difficult to say that Cody and Roman Reigns was not the most compelling rivalry of decades and decades and decades in WWE. It's amazing to watch right now. And you've got this scenario where you're going to be hungry for that third match to happen. There's a chemistry between these two that is so undeniable that you put them on this football field and you go, man, I felt like I was watching a movie. The production value was incredible. All those and you realize, yeah, that's true. But all we did was watch two guys talk for almost the whole thing. There were no clips. There were no CGI special effects. It was just Cody and Roman going back and forth, and that is what drew the attention. We got to do it through a cinematic lens. We got to do it away from a crowd, which is, where the bloodline really had its roots, so that you could really listen to the nuance of what was going on, and we could study it, and we could break it down the way we're breaking it down here without it having to be yelled or interrupted by a crowd. But ultimately, it was just these two guys talking and telling their story that got us. And then as if we needed icing on the cake, As soon as we dip out of the stadium and get back into the reality of Sacramento, California, and SmackDown happening inside the arena, who's the first person watching but Kevin Owens? And people said this. They said, Sam, after the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes match, you said let them cook. You said Kevin Owens is going to eventually turn. When is this going to happen if Cody and Roman is now going forward? I said, let them cook. They got the big green egg out. Old Hunter is slow cooking. Let it happen. And what you're seeing is it's still happening. That thing hasn't gone anywhere just because another thing is happening. And Kevin Owens is now seeing not only Cody move on, but Cody's sitting there and teaming with the person that has destroyed so much of Kevin Owens' psyche, and he hasn't even been able to get his words out on how he truly feels about this. You've got, because you talk about Cody, right? And you talk about, that maybe he hasn't had all the best opponents, all the best stories since he's been champion. He's had great matches, but what about the stories? Now we're looking forward, and we realize, if we really start to break it down, on the table right now, and this is without changing the roster at all, you've got Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. You've got Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. You've got Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. You've got Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns 3. And did I forget to mention, there's still some unfinished business between Cody Rhodes and The Rock. There appears to be a lot left to do in this Cody Rhodes title reign. There are many Cody Rhodes stories to tell, and then beyond that, I want to see Cody and Drew. I want to see Cody and Punk. There's so much. I want to see Cody and Seth again. There's so much going on here, and this to me is the beginning of the ramp up. I don't think this is going to slow down. This takes us into October, which takes us towards Survivor Series. What are we going to see at Survivor Series? There's two options: Bloodline versus Bloodline, or Solo's Bloodline versus Roman and a team of super baby faces. Either way, you've got something there. Coming right after Survivor Series, we're into the Royal Rumble. We're into Netflix, Raw. We're into WrestleMania. We're on the road, pal. And we've already got movies showcasing the true depths of the stories that are being told. I can't wait to see what happens next between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. I'm so glad that I had you guys to just get some of these feelings off my chest. We'll get deeper into the analysis and the analysis of so many other stories Monday morning on the Notsam Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you then. Have a good one, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do the whole deal.